Hey guys, welcome to my final World Cup fantasy team selection. The World Cup kicks off today. Mexico versus South Africa, 8 o'clock tonight. We need to submit our team for the deadline. If you haven't already, make sure you like, comment and subscribe, because there's going to be so much World Cup fantasy content on the channel while the World Cup is on. But firstly, if you haven't already, come and join my own mini league. It's free to join. Anyone is able to join. It's a bit of fun. And yeah, just get involved, guys. I will put the code and the link in the comments and description for you guys. If you want to join for free, please do get involved. But let's head over to obviously World Cup Fantasy. So if you haven't already, build your team, pick your captain, make some transfers, apply chips, compete with your friends, and so forth. So if you haven't already, this is how it works. So if a defender and a goalkeeper get clean sheet, they get 5 points if they play more than 90 minutes. First goal conceded is 0, so just like fantasy football, if they lose 1-0, they don't get anything. Any goal after that, they -1. Goal scored from a goalkeeper or defender is +9. Penalty saves, not including penalty shootouts, is +3. And every 3 saves for a goalkeeper is obviously 1 point. Clean sheets for goalkeeper defenders is 5. Same with, and obviously each goal conceded is 1. If they get a goal, they got 7. Midfielders and forwards, clean sheet is +1. Goals is 6. Every tackle, so you're looking at players who play CDM and defensive midfielder roles, or box to box assess, get 1. Every two chances created is +1. Every goal scored by a forward is 5, and every shot is on target is 2. Obviously, I assume if they score, 6. So really, midfielders get more goal points per than strikers. But yeah, let's head into the transfers now, and show you my current team. So my current team is Nyland, with obviously him being at 2.5% owned. Would come under that scouting bonus. Norway's fixtures, Iran and Senegal. Rangel is 4.8. On the cusp of being under that 5%. He is a player that I might get rid of coming up to the deadline if he creeps over that 5%. So he might be one player I do have to change. At the minute, Cucurella, we know about Spain's great fixtures. Danilo is a solid pick, and he is expected to start for Brazil. So that, yes, Brazil's against Morocco is not the greatest fixture, but if Brazil can do that, I don't see why not. They can't win that or get at least a clean sheet. And him being at 0.8% for a Brazil side, what a cheap scouting point he would get. Majiko again is someone who's coming up to that 5%. Great fixtures for Colombia. And obviously, I think the problem with is there's a lot of content creators on the World Cup Fantasy talking about these players, such as Majiko and Rangel and stuff like that. That they kind of pushing the percentage up on that. Another player is obviously Reinerson, who's 7.7 now, so he's someone I might have to get rid of if I am looking at getting under that 5% scouting bonus, because that 5% bonus gives you an extra 2 points if they score them more than 4 points. So if they play 90 minutes, maybe have a couple of saves, tackles and stuff, if they get that 4 points, even if they concede 1-0, they won't get a clean sheet point, but they could already have enough points to qualify for that scouting bonus. And then obviously we've got Kimmich. Germany's fixtures are amazing, especially against that Kukurako, whatever their team is pronounced as. Moving to the midfield is where it's very, very stacked for us. Bruno Fernandes, owned by half the game, and I understand why. Conco Obestane, and then obviously Colombia for Portugal there. Kevin De Bruyne is at that 5.5%, so he won't go for scouting bonus, unfortunately. But Egypt and Iran and New Zealand are great fixtures for Belgium. So I understand why people are targeting and yeah. Granit Xhaka under that 5%, that's crazy. With Switzerland obviously having two great fixtures and should really top the group, in my opinion. Should take penalties, should take free kicks. Granit Xhaka is amazing. Florian Wirtz, 23%. We don't need to talk about Germany. This is a different Wirtz to Liverpool's Wirtz. When he plays for Germany, he's outstanding. And then Rafinha, again, we're talking about the Brazil fixtures. Morocco is not great defensively, but attacking-wise, I think Rafinha could do some damage. And then Haiti in round 2 is going to be absolutely gorgeous. Moving to the front three, absolutely stacked it out. Kylian Mbappe, literally owned by half the game. Senegal, Iran, and Norway. Cristiano Ronaldo, again, those great fixtures. This is more of a sentimental. We know this is Ronaldo's last World Cup. For me, these are two good fixtures that he could go and get some goals. Starts on penalties and etc. And maybe even if he gets one goal or assist in both games, and then we look to get rid of him after the round in the wild card. I think we have to have Ronaldo for some sort of it, and then obviously Erling Haaland, Iran, Senegal, and France. If Norway need results, you want to look to this man, Erling Haaland. And if you haven't seen the Norwegian when they announce the squad, that is probably one of the best ways to announce the squad. Bringing back the Viking boats, the helmets, basically replicating the TV show The Vikings itself. That is a sick promo to cut for a World Cup squad announcement. So this was my team. Is there any changes that I need to make? Well, firstly, I probably want to get rid of Nyland. And I probably want to get rid of Cucurella and Ryson. With Cucurella, I think I would probably want, if I can afford it. If I can't, then we'll stay with, obviously, Cucurella. But we're going to drop down to Kabasi, which saves us 1 million. 0.1 million, sorry. As for the goalkeeper position, 4.3. Who else? Matt Turner could be a great option if he starts. Ramirez. I don't think he starts though. So I'm looking between Turner and Rachite. We'll go with Chitty for now, but if his price goes up, he's at 4.3% owned. Again, we know Uruguay against Saudi Arabia and Cape Verde should get clean sheets, which means that 4.4 million defender, and I think this could be one of a steal. If you're going for it, you want to go to Argentina. Yes, Argentina. And you want Molina, who's going to be the right back for Argentina. And again, 3.4% owned. Under that scouting bonus, Algeria, Australia and Jordan. Great fixtures for Argentina. And should easily get through the group. Algeria and Australia obviously could cause some troubles. We've seen it in the last World Cup when I think it was Argentina played Qatar in the first game of that tournament. They lost. But I think that could be a great player to pick for just obviously 4.4 million, which means that would change my team. It would bring Kuchetti in, which gets rid of the Norwegian defence. Double up anyway. Kabasi then gets swapped for Cucurella. My only worry is Kabasi going to start for Spain? We know Cucurella would, and I think if we was unsure of Rachete's price percentage, we could go to, obviously, let's actually check USA. USA. Okay, Turner, yeah. They do have another goalkeeper. If Matt Turner had come out as the number one goalkeeper, that would have been a steal. So, yeah, there's a couple of positions I need to think. This would what my team would look like if, obviously, Nyland probably won't go up above that 5%. But someone like Ryerson, who's already up above that, might be smarter to get that and go down and get two players that would come under that 5% scouting bonus, which means we would have obviously Rachete in goal, which is on 5%. Nyland, Roll Rangers under that 5% at the minute, but I think he might go up with that 4.8 with Mexico actually playing today. Then we would have obviously Majuko, who again is under that just under that 5%. If he was to go up, I guess I'd be looking at someone from Ecuador, not goalkeepers, sorry, defenders, and you probably would look at Joel or Dize. He would be someone you'd look at. Ivory Coast is not great. We know how good Ivory Coast attacking is. But that second game, they should do well. And if you're wildcarding, I'm not looking at that Germany fixture anyway. So obviously there are options. But at the minute it would be obviously Rangel, Majiko, Danilo under that 5%. Granit Xhaka under that 5%. And that's it. Really. Not 100% sure on the KDB. And if I quickly actually that, if I was to get rid of someone like KDB, for 7.5 million, obviously you could have Fernandez, Doku. My big worry is Doku output as good as KDB's. Doué, Verts, obviously Valverde, 5.8. See, if Valverde was under that 5.8, 5%, you probably want to go for him. Calahogu's under that 5%. Rice, Pulisic, 5% at a minute, so that probably goes above. And then you start really going into those. Anderson though, 0.8 could be an option actually. Minders, yeah, you don't want Netherlands. Scotland, we've spoken about Scotland before. Yeah, so there are still options to change my squad, guys. If obviously players like Rangel go up, Majiko come up over that 5%, then it's something you need to, I'm going to be watching throughout the day. But at the minute, this is my lineup locked in, off obviously with a couple of changes on that 5% bonus. But I'm pretty happy with my squad. So I guess if we go to my team, manage team site, now we need to pick select. No, we need to select by date. So sub in. 14th, so Kimmich would come in for Majiko. Rafinha would come in for Bruno. I'd probably want like that. So guarantee all front three play. But yeah, so that's fine. Confirm. So you want to pick your squad by date, and the reason why you want to pick your squad by date and not the best players is, unlike Premier League Fantasy, the World Cup Fantasy allows you to, obviously, for example, Mexico played today. Once he's played, tomorrow I could then swap Nyland into the goal. If he doesn't do well, I could then swap Nyland in. Once obviously swaps, you can't change it. And I guess captain should go there, because also you can then obviously swap your captain. Vice captain would probably go Mbappe anyway. But yeah, you would be able to change your captaincy. Obviously, it's basically stick and twist. So captain, I won't captain goalkeeper because I might swap him out. But if your captain doesn't do well, for example, for Rafinha is my captain for now, I could then swap him to Wirtz tomorrow on the 14th. If Wirtz doesn't do well, I could then swap him for Haaland. If Haaland doesn't do well, I could then swap him on to Ronaldo. So I could swap my captaincy so many times. That's not the problem. We just need to quickly talk about chip strategy, because this could obviously be important. So obviously boosters, you've got a wild card, which obviously we all know what wild card is. We got a 12th man, so we can get one player added to our squad that's not selected in our 15-man squad. Max captain, which allows you to get double points on one of your captains, and this goes to the player with the most points. Qualifying bonus, This is from when, obviously, after all groups have been played and your teams go through, then you can use this for players that you have, and if their nations, for example, England, Spain, Turkey, they all go through to the next round, they'd get additional 2 points. Mystery bonus, we don't know what this is, but it's apparently a clean sheet points. So if players don't lose points if they get goals conceded or something, that is what it's rumored to be. So yeah, if you haven't already, guys, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. If there are any changes, I will drop a quick one later today, but at the minute, this is my final World Cup Fantasy 2026 team selection for Matchday 1. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon.